Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to the latest edition of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. This is episode 290. The brothers Maxon here with you. I'm Nate. That's Aaron.
Hello, everybody.
And
We're 10 episodes, well, technically 9 episodes now away from trying to have to think of something special if we're going to get to 300.
Yes, 300. Yeah. We're almost to episode 300.
Yes.
Of the We Can't Wrestle podcast. I think that probably what I'll try to organize for sure for episode 300 will be the Archie Mitchell Memorial Trivia, because Archie was the last trivia. He was the last trivia champion. So I think in honor of him, we'll retire whatever mythical belt he had as trivia champion and create a new belt and go to a new trivia champion. But I think that's probably at least one of the things I'll try to get organized.
Yeah. Something that might be fun. I might have never wanted to open it, even though it's not sealed. I just never wanted to fuck with it. I got that Gordon Soley trivia box thing, that has like the thin record in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's got trivia cards in it. Like that shit would probably be difficult for some people because that shit's gonna go all the way. Like, not knocking the WWF box you got, but this shit goes like back to like the 50s. That might be fun.
Way back. Yeah.
We'll get your amazing wife to host it and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, she did trivia on episode 100, which is why it wound up with the name Razor Ramen.
Raisin Ramen.
And then we had
ramen.
I don't remember why, but the title of episode 200 was No Furpos. I don't know. that probably had something to do with the trivia also.
Yes, but she had one of the greatest. Your wife has one of the greatest endings to a show ever. Was when I got asked the question of what, I can't even remember what the female wrestler was, but it was asking her zodiac sign or whatever, and I didn't know. And at the end of it, she's like, by the way, she was a Sagittarius. That was fantastic.
I think it was Lalani Kai. Anyway. I'd have to go back and listen, but I'm pretty sure it was Lalani Kai. Well, this week we're doing another It Came From YouTube show. We're going back to 1993, April 17th, 1993, the NWA Grand Slam event. And we just can't seem to get out of air. Well, it's funny, because I say we can't seem to get out of AWA territory, because this show is at the American Indian Center in Minneapolis, Minnesota. However, the funny thing is we did get out of AWA territory last week and went to Boston, but it was the AWA.
Yeah. So it's all over the fucking place.
But yeah, this show, again, it's in Minneapolis, April 17th, 1993. And in 1993, we'll get to why in just a little bit, but this was a very important show for tape traders in 1993.
Yes. And, oh, go ahead, sorry.
No, go right ahead.
I was just going to say, like, watching the credits, I realized that, like, I thought this was just a Dennis Carluzza thing, but did you notice at the end, like when they played the credits, it said promoters Dennis Carluzza and Sean Waltman. So a very young Sean Waltman helped put this show together.
Okay. And I did notice also, and I don't know which WWA, I'm assuming it's not the WWA from Indianapolis, but this is also a co-promotion of the NWA and a promotion called WWA, but I don't know. Okay. I don't know which WWA that was. Anyway, yeah, I did not see that in the credits though. I guess I didn't watch the credits, honestly.
Yeah.
But the show opens
I was gonna. We'll talk about it in a little bit. Sorry. But
our commentators are Mick Karch and a guy named Chris Dady, I believe.
I was like, I thought it was Daddy for a minute. I was like, this guy's
Chris
name's
Daddy.
Christian Daddy.
Christian Daddy.
Christian Daddy. Christian Daddy.
I don't like that.
I don't like that either.
But
But
yes, Nick
um,
Karch and Chris Daddy.
they're a step up from last week's commentating.
Oh,
team.
it's not a step up, it's a staircase up from
Yeah.
last week's commentating team.
I actually don't think these guys did a bad job.
No, I dig Mick Karch. I think, and actually he's or he used to. I don't think he does so much anymore. I also don't listen as much anymore. But he used to contribute a lot to like the PW Torch,
which makes
audio
sense.
stuff.
Which makes sense because they mentioned Wade Keller
a
few times on this show. So
yeah, but he used to contribute to some of the audio stuff. And I don't listen to it as much as I used to because I just don't like modern product talk. Isn't something I'd listen to like I used to.
Yeah.
But they do a lot of that, and he used to join Wade Keller quite a bit on his shows. So I like Mick Karch. He's fine. He's a decent play-by-play guy and a good analyst.
And these guys were actually wrestling fans and didn't have cotton balls in their mouths.
So. This, like I said, this was worlds better than.
Yes.
These guys aren't going to be calling Monday Night Raw, but this is worlds better than what we had last week.
And they're not going to call Monday Night Raw, but they're also not going to say bouncy, bouncy, bouncy ball.
yeah. This match sucks.
Guy's a fucking idiot. Anyway.
The first match on this card is the Tasmaniac with his manager Oliver Humperdinck versus Brad Reagans, who we saw on last week's show that we watched, and he's also on this show here in 1993. Humperdinck playing the role of the heel manager in this promotion at the time, apparently.
Almost a decade later, we get Brad Reagans again. Is what that show was 90 or 85. This is 93. So almost a decade later.
Yeah.
And they had it was a pretty decent match, I thought.
It was good. Taz is young in his career here, and Reagans is a veteran. I know you and I kind of differ on Oliver Humperdinck. I like Oliver Humperdinck. I don't think you're a fan of Oliver Humperdinck, but
not really.
I like Humperdinck. Especially like I like pre like expansion Humperdinck, like stuff from Florida and all. Anyway,
I don't hate the guy, but he's just that. To me, he's just kind of like a basic dude. To me.
I don't have a lot of notes on this match other than it was pretty decent for Tasmaniac being I don't think, when did he start? 91, 92?
I went Levy again. I think it was lower than that. I want to say that Taz probably started in 89.
Okay. So he's not as close to his rookie year as I think he was. But yeah, he does a good showing against Reagans here. Reagans actually gets the victory with a roll up, and actually, holy shit. Taz made his wrestling debut June 3rd, 1987.
Yeah, I just looked it up too. Am I wrong? Well, yeah, I mean, I was close, but yeah, 87.
I did not realize that he had been wrestling that long before ECW. I mean, I knew he wrestled before ECW because I actually have been watching, thanks to Chris P. Lettuce. I've been watching some IWCCW from I think like 90 or 91, and he's part of. But anyway,
but it is kind of like what like when you talk about Scott Hall talking about like and I know I brought it up to you or whatever, but when he's like, you know, everybody gets mad when you call it the wrestling business until you start treating it you want to call it the business until you start treating it like a business.
Mm-hmm.
Scott Levy talked about like working indie shows or whatever, and he'd be like, he'd ask guy like, how many matches have you had? And they'd be like, oh, I've been wrestling since 1987. No, how many matches
How
have
many
you had?
match? Yeah.
I've been in the business since 1980. No, how many matches have you? You might have been in the business since 1987, but you might have only had 5 fucking matches.
Right.
I don't know how good you are. Yeah, like, are you gonna break my fucking neck because you've only had 5 fucking matches?
Makes
But
total
anyway,
sense.
yeah,
Yeah. Like I said, Reagan's wins this match. Not a whole lot to talk about it, but the next match is a couple of fixtures of the late 80s, early 90s independent scene. It's Tommy Ferrara versus Larry Cameron.
yes. And Larry Cameron was a guy that always selling magazines. Like that dude was in all the magazines.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he
And
was.
like he always looked like a fucking $1,000,000.
He was
And I don't want to like
especially. I'm not saying he wasn't in PWI or the Wrestler, but he was especially featured in magazines that weren't
yeah,
from that company from the London Publishing. He was
like
he was
Pro Wrestling
definitely.
Eye and shit
Yeah,
like that.
he was featured in the. I guess as when we were kids, we would call them like the off-brand
Yeah,
wrestling
like
magazines. It
pro
wasn't
yeah, like
PWI or
pro
the Wrestler.
yeah, it was like Pro Wrestling Eye or
Wrestling World, I think, was one of
yeah,
them.
Wrestling World. Yeah. And as I got older, like there's other things I've watched on YouTube other than this or whatever, and Larry Cameron was on it. And I'm like, man, I'm not saying he was bad, but he was like a guy that like he looked like $1,000,000 fucking, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So when I'd see him in the magazines, I'm like, why didn't anybody pick this guy up? Like, why didn't anybody hire him? And he had like good promos and personality and everything, but he was pretty basic as a wrestler.
Yeah, yeah.
I
He could
think
have. He probably.
he's kind of
He.
got the Ahmed Johnson.
I was about to say he probably could have been a better Ahmed Johnson than Ahmed Johnson.
Yeah, because he could
Like,
actually speak.
yeah, if you could put him in, if you put him in that role, he might have been. He might, but yeah, he's a like Aaron said, he's an impressive looking guy, power wrestler. Like my notes about the match was that he pretty much dominates this match with the power game over Tommy Ferrara. But yeah, again, a guy we don't, doesn't come up a lot on the show because he doesn't come up a lot on the stuff we watch or review or whatever. But definitely was a magazine star back in the late '80s, early '90s.
And then I did a little bit of
I'm sure if
Wikipedia. Oh, yeah,
I'm sure if Bill Watts would have still been in business at this time, he'd have tried to make him another new JYD.
yeah. But I did try to look it up. I mean, like why didn't he ever really get to WCW or WWF later on? And it's crazy because this show, like you said, it's in April of 1993.
Mm-hmm.
Dude was dead by December of 1993.
Damn,
He died in Germany.
that's wild.
Not to
Drugs
be
or
a
what?
yeah, it didn't really say what it was, but
Hmm.
he just passed away in Germany in 1993. So he's dead in less than half a year. Not to be a Debbie Downer, but that's what happened. I mean, to happen. I didn't kill him, so not my fault. Sorry.
Well, apparently he had heart issues.
Oh, okay.
Is according to, I just wanted to look it up real quick. According to Wikipedia, on December 13th, 93, Cameron suffered a heart attack during a match with
Oh, I guess.
Tony St. Clair in Bremen, Germany, and died backstage at the age of 41. He reportedly suffered from heart problems, at one point being stopped from wrestling due to an irregular heartbeat. So
I guess I didn't read enough. I just thought, oh, the guy died in December. So I guess I should have read more. But on this night, he beat Tommy Ferrara. So
yes.
he had a good day at least. At least one good night in 1993.
The next matchup on the show, Jerry Lynn versus Chris Candido.
With TR Shock.
With TR Shock, who is obviously Tom Robinson of 605 Super Podcast fame.
Oh, okay. Didn't realize that.
Yep, that's Tom Robinson, TR Shock.
That dude went crazy, but he was funny while he lasted.
Yeah, I mean, he was responsible for Stuttering Tommy Rich and TR Knack. Sim Saba Simba.
What's below the noise? What's below the noise of Jimmy Hart? The mouth of the South. It's a stupid joke, but it's one of my favorites. I love a good stupid joke. I know you know that about me, but just a really bad stupid joke is one of my favorite ones.
Like,
yeah,
like
I'm sorry.
I like stupid jokes too.
Okay.
What do you call a lesbian army? Militia Etheridge. Anyway,
this match. Do you know they have a pill that cures lesbianism?
And they do.
It's called Tricoxagen.
Yep. Those are two bad jokes.
Yes.
Good job, us.
But this match actually was pretty good.
Yeah, I actually put down here at the beginning, Candido cuts a promo, but I have no fucking clue what he said. So.
Oh yeah, it was worse than the ECW like. I have no idea what he said. But the match itself is great, or not great, is good. And the only I got my only notes of the match is it was decent. It was a decent paced match back and forth. End up on the ringside floor, obviously, but why do you think Jerry Lynn never made it in WWF?
I think it's almost like
I got my reasons, I think, but I just wanted to hear your thought on it.
I really don't know. I don't know if he just didn't fit in. I don't know if it was because I don't know. I can't put my finger on why. Because at the time, the cruiserweight division was in WWF was pretty, I want to say diversified. You know, you had a few luchadors that were from the old WCW days, and then you had some littler guys that were from the ECW, and then you had a Billy Kidman and Paul London, and I don't know why he didn't. Kid Cash is part of that division at the time, I believe.
Yeah, but see, Lynn was before that though, because Lynn got there in 2001.
Oh, so maybe I guess maybe I'm misremembering my. I just remember him doing a promo, like them interviewing him, and he wasn't on the pay-per-view. And the only thing I remember about his WWF run is that they did one of those things where he's like at WWF New York and he's not on the pay-per-view. He's like, I wonder why I'm not on the pay-per-view, JR. It did like a bitter kind of deal, but that's literally all I remember about him in the WWF.
Yeah, I want to make sure I'm not misremembering.
No, you're probably right.
Quick, sorry. Yeah, he got there in 2001. Okay, and he was gone in February of 2002.
Oh yeah, so he was gone long before the time I was talking about.
Yeah, and what I think he got there just like just a hair too early. Like if he would have got there like a year or 6 months later, he would have been on that roster when they did the brand extension and they put Paul in charge of SmackDown.
And you know
as a
what?
writer.
Now I feel stupid for screwing up my time frame with him, because by the time I would be talking about him, he's the fucking dude in TNA. He's the, like we talked about, he's like the Terry Funk in TNA, the veteran that's
Yeah.
helping all the young guys out. So yeah, I don't know.
I
Maybe
think if he would have got there a little later when Paulie had a little more stroke creatively, I think Jerry would have been a bigger deal. I don't think Vince fucking and Pat or whoever, and I'm not knocking Pat or Vince, but I just don't think they knew what to do with the guy because he's not a great promo.
Right.
But anyway.
But yeah, these guys have a good match. The finish comes when they kind of did a fun little thing here. Jerry Lynn crossbody does a crossbody, or no, I'm sorry. He does a crossbody to Candido, but he also gets the referee. So TR Shot comes in the ring with a chain, but Lynn knocks shit out of him. But after he knocks shit out of him, Candido gets the chain, hits Lynn with the chain for the win.
Yes.
So I thought it was a good match. It was a good little finish there. Everything worked out. And then of course Jerry Lynn beats both of them up, which the manager and the little chicken shit heel are gonna get theirs in the end. So
yeah. I mean, how can you not have a good match with Jerry Lynn and Chris Candido?
Right, exactly.
Good fucking match.
The next match, I have an observation about this one.
Oh, I have a couple observations about this one.
This is Billy Blaze versus Horace the Psychopath, who's another guy whose name you saw in the magazines all the time.
Yeah, and apparently he's the baby face.
Apparently he is. When I saw the name Horace the Psychopath when I was a young man, I always thought he'd be like, like fucking the guy with the Jason mask or whatever,
Yeah, and I'm going to have another note on that here in a minute. But okay, the Psychopath is the baby face. And then he comes out and the way this guy's doing his fucking gimmick is like, you said he had notes, so I don't want to over.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
But this guy, to me, like with his look, and then some of the mannerisms that he tries to be funny, he's like Baron von Raschke and Bugsy McGraw had a fucking love baby.
I definitely have a note down here that he reminds me of Bugsy McGraw for sure. That was one of my notes.
Because he does like the flapping of the hand, like the flapping of the arms like a bird, and then he spins around and shit. Yeah, it's like Baron von Raschke and Bugsy McGraw had a fucking
Bugsy von Raschke.
Bugsy von Raschke or
Baron von McGraw.
Baron von Bugsy.
Baron von Bugsy. And that's all that people need to know. Is that for true?
And then, but this match happens, and it starts out how it is, and then apparently Horace, and this is where it's weird because like apparently in this company, Horace the Psychopath is teammates with Tommy Ferreira, from what I got from the commentating in this. Because they were like, oh, Horace the Psychopath, he's crazy, but he helps out his friends like Tommy Ferreira. So they're like the top baby faces. and they're like tag team champions together.
Well,
Why are these guys partners?
I'm sure there's a long, well told story.
Oh yeah, probably not.
And Horace
But
doesn't even win this match.
No, he doesn't. Horace does a bunch of stalling outside the ring, and he's doing his Bugsy McGraw unfunny, stupid shit. And you said you had some notes, so I don't.
Oh,
wanna,
my next
I don't want to step into
the one
finish.
the Bugsy McGraw was the note, and then my next note is after the finish. So
Okay, so Horace is supposed to be the baby face, okay, against this Billy Blaze guy. Well, then they roll into the finish, and Horace rolls up Billy Blaze, but holds the I think it was the middle rope. He holds the middle rope for leverage, and the referee kicks his arms, and Blaze rolls him up for the 1-2-3. That is a babyface finish.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
That's a finish where like Ted DiBiase does it to Hogan, and Earl kicks his hands, and he gets rolled up. You know what I mean? And then people be like, "Oh, hey." But in this one, it's like the fucking referee kicked the heel's hand. I don't know. Like I don't know who I'm supposed to be
right.
cheering for in this thing. Who's the fucking heel? That's my last note. Who's the fucking heel?
Yeah,
I hated this fucking match.
I put down at the end with after Blaze gets the win, Horace the psychopath. Then they shake hands and hug, and I was like, not so psycho.
Yeah, this thing sucked. Fuck Horace, a psychopath.
It definitely.
When I saw Horace, the psychopath, at first I thought it was going to be Horace Hogan, but I'm like, that's not Horace Hogan.
No.
Oh.
But yeah, this was bad. Probably the worst thing on the show.
It was booty.
The next thing is not booty.
It is not.
The next thing is what I talked about earlier. Why this show, as nondescript as you would think this show would be, as you're watching it, you're like, just some random NWA show from 1993. But at the time, this show actually had the next match, which is a match between Sabu and the Lightning Kid. We didn't have the internet then, but these guys were dirt sheet darlings. These guys were indie wrestling darlings at the time. Everybody wanted to see this match. And
Sabu's with Humperdunk.
Yes, Sabu's with Humperdink. Lightning Kid is probably, I think, about a month away from the upset on Monday Night Raw over Razor Ramon.
Yeah, that's part of my notes. Is that Kid is very WWF bound, and I'm wondering if I don't know. I know Vince wouldn't have seen it, but I'm wondering if this might have aided that to happen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh man, did you guys see this quote unquote kid? You know, have this match with Sabu? Like, did Sean or Razor or somebody see it?
I would not doubt that at all. Maybe like you said, maybe Scott Hall. I would lean towards Scott Hall. Maybe Scott Hall saw it, and then the tape winds up in Pat Patterson's hand or something. Because I think this was one of the times where Bruce Pritchard was fired. I don't think Bruce Pritchard was around at this time.
All right.
Because there were those times in the 90s where he was there and then he wasn't, and then he was. And I can't remember if this was one of those times Bruce was around, but I'm sure this tape this match at least probably found its way to Pat Patterson, because I'm pretty sure around this time is when Sabu had his tryout too.
One of them.
Yeah,
I
if I
believe,
remember,
yeah.
I was going to say, if I remember correctly, he definitely worked a TV taping in '93.
Yeah, because he had a couple of them. Because there was another one doing it would be I think in like 94, 90. I won't say 90. Yeah, you might be right. Because they wanted him to be the Sultan, and he
Yeah.
wouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because they wanted him to be with Iron Sheik, and he didn't want to disrespect his uncle.
But yeah, like I said, that just I am sure this found its way to Pat Patterson. Probably the stuff that the kid did with Jerry Lynn and Global also. Actually,
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So anyway, but yeah, this match was again one of those matches that back in the day, back in the day, you couldn't just watch fucking everything without working for it. Like nowadays, there's too much fucking wrestling. You have access to too much fucking wrestling. I don't even want to
Yeah.
watch it all. I don't even want to watch it all. Back then, we wanted to consume as much as we could because we didn't have access to as much as we do now.
Yeah. It
Back
could have been
then,
like, oh, here's a VHS tape with 5 minutes of Sabu versus the 1-2-3
yeah.
kid. Like, I will watch that. Like,
Or
oh, go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say when we would visit grandma in the summer, I wasn't even excited to watch that on Fox 55 in Fort Wayne to watch the shitty ass Dick the Bruiser Jr. Bobo Brazil Jr. promotion.
Yeah. Or
Looking back on it now, I'm like, God, that was fucking awful. But I was so excited to
yeah.
just watch some wrestling that I hadn't seen before.
Or just talking about watching and consuming something in wrestling, and it was still WWF, but you still fucking loved watching it. Um, remember that board game that had the WWF board game that had the VHS tape with
Oh
it,
yeah, yeah.
where you got like like clips of like Paul Orndorff versus Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you still watch that shit, and you're like, that was cool.
Everything I could get my hands on.
Yeah,
Yeah, get my hands on or my eyes on. It didn't matter if it was shitty
yeah,
or not. I didn't care back then.
yeah.
Now it's so funny.
These
It's so funny how it's opposite now. Like back then, it was like, God, I want to watch everything I can see. And nowadays, I'm like, God, I don't even know if I want to watch Raw this week.
Yeah, like I enjoyed WrestleMania this year.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I told you I liked night one better than night two, but I liked both nights. And then I told you, oh, I'm gonna see if this gets me to continue watching the modern. I haven't. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow because I'm off. But I literally was like, I'm working today, 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 today. I haven't watched the Raw after WrestleMania yet. I'm gonna watch it tomorrow because I don't work.
Yeah, I didn't watch it till
I'll just
Wednesday. I don't.
I'll
Yeah,
just
it's
watch
not.
it. I'll just watch it on Saturday. It used to be like I have to sit down and act like I'll call off to be
Mm-hmm.
in front of my TV to watch the Raw after WrestleMania. And now I'm just like,
Yeah,
I'll just watch it Saturday as I do my laundry. It's ridiculous. And now we're just watching random shit on YouTube. Like
well,
if we would be doing this show, if there were podcasts in 1997, I'd have to like mail you this
yeah.
tape.
We can do the show in a couple of weeks.
Yeah. But this match, Sabu and the 1-2, or he's not 1-2-3 kid yet. Sabu and the Lightning Kid is a really good match. One thing I did like about it was, and they could have did it, and it still would have been great, but they didn't start out fast paced.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like they started out brawling a little bit and slanging some fists and like They didn't go balls to the wall right away.
Right? Yeah, they built it. They built it.
Yeah.
If it was
appreciated
if it was 2026, or if it was if the match is in 2026, people would be like, let them cook. But anyway, yes. Also, as they start off this matchup, this is the first mention of Dennis Coralluzzo, and they mention Wade Keller being in attendance from the Pro Wrestling Torch. The kid winds up blading during this match.
And I think I could be wrong, because Sean Waltman's a professional. But at this point, I think Sean Waltman might have gigged a little deeper than he wanted to, because he bled a lot.
Yeah, he was bleeding quite a bit.
Yes.
The proverbial crimson mask, he really did have that going there for a minute. I don't. So anyway, it's fun to watch their styles together too, because Sean Maltman, he's with the Milkman, Jake Milliman. Sean Waltman, to me, is one of those guys that's like a wrestling chameleon. Like, he's really good and has his own style, but he's very good at wrestling to somebody else's abilities and wrestling to somebody else's style.
He can wrestle down, he can wrestle up. Like, he is you can slap me down if you want to tell me I'm wrong about this. But I thought about it watching him, and I've been watching some other WWF stuff where Waltman's involved in it, like Superstars or whatever. And I know it's not the same character, and I know it's not the same style of wrestling, but in the time that he got to the WWF, and this guy was even in the WWF at the same time he was on the roster, it wasn't very much longer. But do you know what I feel? Do you know who the guy like you compare this guy in the 80s was this guy?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you use that comparison. When I look at like a roster of the 80s to the roster of the 90s, you know, I think Waltman reminds me a lot of
DiBiase.
No.
See, for me it's DiBiase.
It's not. To me, it's Rick Martel.
Yeah, I can see that too. Yeah.
He's not the main event guy, because DiBiase to me is a main event guy.
Well, I was just talking about like DiBiase was that one of those guys, like Martel too. I'm not shitting on the Martel thing. I can see that too. But DiBiase was also one of those guys that could wrestle to someone else's abilities.
Yeah.
And be a
I'm looking at the spot and the way he was kind of looked at, where you put him on the card or whatever. I think he was like the Rick Martel of the 90s.
I can see that.
In my opinion. But
with all the good action in this match, I actually laughed at the finish. This poor referee, because the referee.
Yeah. Before you talk about the referee getting fucked up, that Sabu Frankensteiner bump was fucking nuts.
Yeah, it was sick.
Like, I was kind of hoping maybe Chad would have been on here, because I couldn't tell if Waltman fucked it up and didn't protect Sabu, or if it was on purpose. But either way, I'm like, God damn, that was a sick fucking bump.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell you. Sometimes with Sabu matches, being honest, you can't tell what's a mistake and what's not.
That's what I'm saying. So I couldn't tell, but I was like, Either way, it was a sick looking bump.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, the referee gets hit, and then
He get- he
Sabu.
he actually gets he accidentally, quote unquote, he winds up getting drop kicked by the kid, and then he's gonna kind of wave it off like it was just an accident. So he's getting up, and then Sabu just cracks him with a fucking forearm and gets DQ'd
Yeah,
anyway. I don't know.
and
I thought it was a fun way to end the match. Just poor fucking referee.
yeah, and then the referee ends up calling it a no contest. So he disqualifies both of them, and then the Dink and Sabu double team Kid, which brings out Gentleman Jerry Lynn.
And
Is what
Jerry
they're
Lynn,
calling him.
I put down Jerry Lynn comes out with an awkward chair. It's always awkward when a wrestler has a chair that isn't a folding chair.
Yeah, when
Like
they bring out one of like the school chairs or
yes, this was like a school chair.
cafeteria
This was a
chairs.
school chair, but for a fat kid. Like it was like a school chair, but it was really wide. It
Yeah,
was very awkward. Him swinging it around.
yeah, the cafeteria chair. It's weird.
It is. I don't know. To me, it's always awkward when a wrestler grabs a chair that's not a folding chair. I think they feel like it too because it feels like their rhythm's off whenever they have one like that.
Yeah, and then like back in um the ones that I really hate is when they have to use one of like uh the not even the plastic cafeteria chairs, when they have one of like the chairs with like the padding.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
With the
it's like, oh,
the
you're gonna hit
padded
him with the
seat.
phone. Yeah, the padded seat chair. What are you doing? That's silly. But anyway,
But Sabu comes back out after Jerry Lynn runs him and Humperdinck off, and then we have a group of people holding Sabu back and a group of people holding the kid back. They're holding them back from each other. Mick Karch does an interview with the 1-2-3. So we keep saying, "I'm sorry, I did it too." The Lightning Kid,
right.
not the 1-2-3 kid yet. We know who the fuck we're talking about.
Yeah.
But Mick Karch does an unintelligible interview with him. Don't know what he said. And then I put down before Sabu comes back out with Humperdinck, they have a long shot of the audience. And I was like, ooh, I like this game. Count the mustaches. I counted 16 mustaches.
Well, it's 1993, and
I know. It's like, oh, we're playing. Like I almost wanted to have like in the background, like the elevator type music they would do in between sketches on Monty Python,
yeah,
Now,
19.
now for something completely different. Count the
Different.
mustaches.
The penguin on your TV is about to explode.
Quite frankly,
Um,
I'm sick of all this sex on the telly.
I tell you,
I keep folding off. Anyway.
right. Will the real whoever please stand up, and they blow up.
Yeah.
It's fun shit.
Uh,
You know what you brought it up, so you're gonna have to bear with me for a minute. You
that's
know
all
what
right.
do you know what my favorite, not movie skit, but you know what my favorite just television Monty Python's Flying Circus skit is?
What's that?
Arthur Two Sheds Jackson. That's my favorite thing they ever did. I wish I would even have bought the shed. That would be Arthur No Sheds Jackson. So fucking stupid. But it just cracks me. It's like this guy's written books and everything. He's like, I wish people would just, can you tell us about when he wrote the book In the Shed? Like, I don't know why it's so fucking funny to me, but it's my fucking favorite. I don't think you said Jackson.
Well, Humperdinck and Sabu come back out for an interview. Once again, don't really know. Humperdinck's yelling and screaming.
The gist of it is they're trying to set up a rematch between
Yes.
Sabu and the Lightning Kid. I don't know if it ever happened because I couldn't find Grand Slam 2, but that's what they're trying to set up.
The next match is a tag match, and it's way too fucking long.
And it's like a Fire Pro match or some fucking, or like a Wrestling Empire match. You just put these 4 random guys together. It's the Hater, who I have no idea who he is, but apparently he is the champion of this promotion, which is PWA. So Hater,
I
the
thought it was
Hater,
WWA. Sorry.
no, it's PWA. The Hater is a PWA champion. He is teaming with the Convict, which it's funny because they're like, oh, it's the Convict Nails, and they're facing the most random tag team of all time.
It's like a Battle Bowl tag team.
Yeah, it's Charlie Norris and Mr. Saito. Like, what the fuck is happening? But I don't know how much you listen to the commentary, but I listen to Chris Daddy and Mike Crotch or whatever his fucking name is.
Mike Crotch.
And Big Daddy and Crotch were talking about the Hater and Charlie Norris having like uber heat with each other. So apparently in this PWA, in the history of the PWA, the most hated rivalry of all time is the Hater and Charlie Norris. These guys fucking hate each other. Like they've traded the belt back and forth. And Charlie Norris is the fucking man in this American Indian Coliseum or wherever the fuck they're at. Sorry, the American Indian Convention Center or whatever. Yeah.
What I put down here is obviously Mr. Saito's doing a favor for somebody because at this point in his life and his career, for him to do this random fucking show in Minnesota in 1993.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
It had to be like he wasn't on the show, but when I saw Saito, I'm like, I think probably Ken Patera might have had something to do with it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ken Patera or Gagne. It's the only way I can see him getting Saito on there.
But like Aaron said, it's just such a fucking random tag team. The match starts out. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, like, I know the guy's kind of crazy. And I've watched some recent shoot interviews with him, and he actually looks like he's still in pretty decent shape. The one thing I will say, like, I think if Nails wouldn't have been as off his rocker as he was at the time, that was such a cool fucking gimmick, in my opinion. Like the Nails gimmick was cool.
Mm-hmm. It was especially cool because it was a very different type gimmick for the WWF in that era that we were watching because he was dirty. And that was and violent, like that.
Yeah.
That beat down that he gave Boss Man on Superstars, like that was a long, brutal beat down for WWF. Like I know at that time they had also, just a little while before that they had done the Jake Roberts, Randy Savage thing with the snake, which was also brutal and out of character for them. But yeah, he was very much a very different for that promotion and how quote unquote kid friendly and shit it was, you know.
Yeah, and I think like I said, if he wouldn't have been as big of a whack job as he was or whatever in real life, like eventually I feel like they could have still had nails, but like nails, but you could even got away from like the convict garb. You know,
Well, they
that
were,
shit.
yeah.
You know what
I
I
mean,
mean?
if you think about it, if he wouldn't have left, might have not got Giant Gonzalez because they were heating up him and Undertaker for
Yeah.
Undertaker's next feud. That was probably going to WrestleMania 9, honestly.
It was just a cool fucking gimmick, I thought. Like, and even in this one, like when you watch this match, like him and Charlie Norris, like they do some like hardcore shit outside of the ring. Like
Yeah,
they
that's what I
brawl
said.
around the
This match kind of starts out slow, but then Nails throws Norris into the garbage can, and then beats him up with it. Then they get back to toward the ring, and he chokes him out with the cable. And that fucking uh, Christian Daddy, my quote from him, he's like, "This man is crazy."
yeah.
And then
Um
he does. You know what? He does do the one thing that you would do as a wrestling or somebody would do as a wrestling person sitting there watching it on TV. He's like, what I don't understand is if you got out of prison, she's still wearing that jumpsuit for. He
yeah.
actually said it.
And like my main note is
Saito beats the fuck out of the hater during this.
yeah, but also like it's a random fucking match. But other than Sabu and Kid, this is like my favorite thing on the show. Like
See,
they actually had a really good fucking match.
I thought this match went too long.
It did go a little too long, I'm not gonna lie. But the match itself was like it's a good fucking match.
It was
I
kind of like
liked
one of
it.
those. It was kind of like one of those ECW roller coaster matches that, for a minute or for 5 minutes, it seems like it's a wrestling match, and then for 5 minutes it breaks down, and then everybody comes back together, and it turns into a wrestling match again. Like I don't know. It's
Yeah, like
just
I said, it held my interest. And Charlie Norris and Mr. Saito, see? Like whoever thought you'd hear that shit.
whoever thought you would say Charlie Norris was in a good match.
Yeah. But he was. He was surrounded by decent work. Like the hater, I don't know who the fuck that guy is, but he seemed like a pretty good fucking
He was definitely a big
little worker.
motherfucker.
Yeah, and he was a good worker for whatever this little territory he was in. But Norris and Saito end up winning.
Saito
Man.
pins the hater with a belly to back suplex. And I fucking laugh my ass off because that dude tries to interview Saito and Norris and they just leave.
They're just like, fuck off. I have that. They try to interview Saito and Norris, and they just fucking leave. It's like I'm not gonna fucking. It's like I'm Mr. Saito. Fucking be interviewed by you.
And then one of the great things, not just in this night, but anytime it happens, one of the great things in the history of professional wrestling happens.
Terry Funk.
Terry Funk just walking around an arena.
Yeah.
Being Terry Funk. Being there. There is an art to Terry Funk, man. He is so fucking good. Like, I don't know, just Terry Funk just walking around being fucking unhinged. And it's so fucking great. It's so good. Like, he doesn't even have to fucking wrestle. Like, usually, if I see something like this where I'm like, oh, it's just some walk and brawl thing, there's not even really a finish, blah, blah, blah. I feel like I get screwed over as a fan, but not when it's Terry Funk, because even that he's doing 100 fucking %.
I feel like he might have been in a American Indian Convention Center with Road Warrior Hawk in 1993. Okay. And looked at Hawk and was like, "What do you think we can do, brother?" And Hawk was like, "Huh?
And Terry was like, I know what we're going to do. Fucking
I
nothing.
know what we're gonna do. I'm gonna walk around for a long time, and then you'll stumble out, and we'll do nothing." Like, I feel like I could be completely wrong,
You're not.
but I'm pretty sure Hawk probably wasn't as coherent
This
as
is
he could
April of
have.
1993. I promise you, Hawk was fucked up before he even got to the building for this show.
But like you said, funk comes out. He beats up
Road Warrior Hunk.
Horde Warrior Hunk. Um, he comes out. He beats up Dennis Carluza. I don't know if you noticed that, but
He chases Wade Keller.
yes.
Then he
And
beats
then
up Dennis Coralluzzo while Hawk's coming out to the ring, which Hawk does.
yeah,
Hawk's a terrible friend because he doesn't help Dennis Coralluzzo at all.
yeah. And then he mocks a kid in a wheelchair. Like Terry Funk mocked a kid in a wheelchair. And then Hawk and Funk brawl throughout the building. And they finally end up in the ring, and Eddie Sharkey's the referee. And as soon as they get in the ring, Eddie Sharkey calls for the bell and disqualifies both men.
Yes.
It's like, what the fuck just happened?
And I'm sure it's exactly what you said. Terry Funk went to Eddie Sharkey and said, "This is what we're doing tonight, brother."
I'm not going to let that junkie drop me on my
Right.
fucking head.
Ain't no way I'm letting him do too much to me tonight. He could choke me with the tape. Yep. I 100% guarantee that he saw the condition of Hawk that night and he was like, I'm just going to play old crazy Terry Funk tonight.
And you know what? I didn't
It
even
worked.
have that in my, it did work, but I didn't even have that in my notes. Like, as we were talking about it and as we got along, it's like, Hawk, 1993 Hawk. That guy
Yeah.
was fucked up. Terry Funk did everything he could do to not get hurt in the goddamn American Indian Convention Center.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was called. Yeah.
Yep, because this was
Yeah.
the time in their relationship where Animal had pretty much thrown his hands up and said, I've done everything I can for you. You're on your own. You know? He was pissed at him because she fucked the WWF deal up. And then was doing Road Warrior shit without him. And yeah, so yeah, this was definitely not a good time. And Hawk was not in a good place at this point.
And like I said, the match and like they brawled all over the arena, and then they finally went up in the ring, and Eddie Sharkey was just like, nope. And they continue to brawl around the building, and that's how it ended.
Overall, I can say
I liked
watched
this show.
Oh yeah, I was just about to say I can say I watched this show and never at any point did I feel like I was itching to fast forward. Never at any point did I because sometimes you're watching something and it's shitty or whatever, and not the good kind of shitty that's funny. And you're watching something and you find yourself like you're scrolling on your phone or whatever and not paying attention. This was a good early '90s indie show.
Yeah. Like, if you and I would have been like, oh, we spent $20 each to go watch this, and we were going home, I'd have been like, that was fun.
Right. Or if in
I enjoyed it.
'93 I had sent John McAdam $20 for the tape, I wouldn't have felt chipped,
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
So for the next couple of weeks, here's what's going to happen, folks. We're going to do next week. We're going to do my new concept. I don't know, or it's not really a concept. It's You call it a top 5 or a worst 5. I'm going to call it high 5, low 5, where in an episode of the show, we will discuss our top 5 favorite of something and then our least least favorite of something. 5 least favorite. If I can get my shit together there. So we're going to do that next week, and I'll let you know right now, Aaron. Next week, top high 5, low 5, favorite. Oh shit! Which one did I pick? Hold on. Favorite 90s rivalries. Least favorite 90s rivalries.
In wrestling?
Yes. That'll be the first high 5, low 5. Your 5 favorite 90s rivalries and your least favorite 90s rivalries.
All right. Because you said at one point, and it's fine because you were like, it might not be wrestling, it might be wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, it's like, my top favorite 90s rivalry is Biggie and Tupac.
That's I was about to say, not Bad Boy and fucking Death Row, not.
Oh yeah. So okay, I wrote that down. So then after that,
we'll have the next week will be Pot on the Mountain after that. Our next Pot on the Mountain. And then after that, we will go back to the It Came From YouTube. And Aaron's going to surprise me with which show I have to watch for that.
And that is going to be, it's great that we just talked about this guy. It is going to be the 50 Years of Funk.
Oh, sweet.
Yes.
No, I don't. No. I've already booked something else, Terry. Terry.
Yeah.
I wasn't asked to be there. Motherfucker showed up.
I'm too busy jumping on my trampoline with my baby weights in my banana hammock.
Yeah. Go if you haven't watched Beyond the Mat, go watch Beyond the Mat before we do this.
You know what? I've been watching some 86, 87 superstars, and I'll tell you, I'll give him this though. Dennis Stamp was on it. Dennis Stamp got to work. He got to work in the WWF ring.
Yeah. Oh no, and you know what? And I've seen that stuff. I've seen his work there too. He wasn't a bad enhancement guy.
No.
But he's just, he's pretty pathetic on Beyond the Mat.
Yeah. And then Terry Funk walks away and falls in a pothole.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's like, it's been 7 years, but you never know when you're going to get your next call up.
Yeah. It's like, man, I know when you
are. It's been 7 years. I don't think you're going to call up. You're not the Iron Sheik. I'm just saying.
Keep killing bugs, buddy. Whatever your job was.
Dennis's dead bug. Like instead of Dale's dead bug, it's Dennis's dead bug.
Yeah. He's the Dale Gribble of Terry Funk's group. Like Terry Funk's Hank Hill, obviously. And then Dennis Stamp is Dale Gribble. Dory Funk is
Bill Dotrieve.
Bill Dotrieve, without a shadow of a doubt. Oh, who is Boomhauer?
Flair.
Brian Blair.
I was just thinking of a blonde ladies man.
Not Brian Blair. Who would be Boom? Jimmy Jack Funk?
Yeah, dang old woo.
Ric Flair's Boomhauer.
Dang old woo.
Now, man.
All right. We're going to sign off.
So somebody falls, like some hot chick falls outside of Ric Flair's house, and Dory Funk's like, don't play Dido. Don't play Dido.
And Dennis Stamp's like, just so you know, I'm willing to drink beer you sat on. I'm just not willing to reach for it.
Willing to reach for it. And dang on my show. Burn it. So that's what I'm saying. Like, man, shit that's like people don't think is like the funniest thing on a show is like my favorite thing. Like, I love that. Don't play Dotto. Don't play Dotto. It's like tears don't fall too far from me. I
Or
think
when
that's like
the episode with the ultra Christian lady and she's quoting the Bible verses, and then Hank's like, "Get off my porch, Exodus."
Exodus. It's so fucking funny.
It's one of the funniest TV shows of all time. Like, that is in the top 5. If we ever did it, that would be in my top 5 rewatchable shows.
Yeah.
Like, I can just sit down and watch King of the Hill anytime and never, like, I can have seen an episode 30 times and it's still funny, you know?
Yeah. Just trying to think of wrestlers
like,
that would
when
be
he's
the
really pissed.
King of the Hill characters.
When he's really pissed that he has to he's at the Megalomart and he has to buy the Megalo pack of spark plugs. He just wants one fucking spark plug. But he has to buy the Megalo pack that has 12 in it. He's like, "Why do I need 12 spark plugs?" He's so irrationally angry about it, but it's fucking hilarious. The Megalo pack.
Who's the fucking guy? Oh. You're a bigger fan than me. His coworker.
Oh, the one that calls him honey?
Yeah, honey.
Yeah, Joe Jack.
Yeah, Joe Jack, honey. Like I was like that's Art Anderson. Anyway, we're getting off the rails. We got an hour out of that. That's what I wanted to get, was at least an hour out of the NWA Grand Slam 1993. It was a good show, like you said.
And we also gave you a preview of the next 3 weeks of the show, so you know what to expect. And if you are not already, please subscribe to our YouTube page. It's the WrestleNet Radio Podcast Network on YouTube. And join our Facebook group. Same name, WrestleNet Radio Podcast Network on Facebook. If you ask to join, I will let you into the group, or one of us will. So that being said, we're going to sign off for this week. We'll see you next week for the High Five, Low Five. And then the week after, Pod on the Mountain, discussing May of 1992, including the Volunteer Slam. So that'll probably be a long episode.
Yes.
So we will see you then. Until then, have a great week, everybody.